Oh my gosh, guys, I am super excited about the release of Deadpool and Wolverine, Deadpool 3, whatever you want to call it. It is coming out this week, and I thought it would be really appropriate to do an episode sort of talking about it. Now, obviously, I haven't seen the movie because it's not out yet. I'd love to do a follow-up after I get a chance to see it. But I'm a huge comic book fan. I've been a comic book fan since I was a little kid, and I've got all these great books. This is Wolverine #1 that I had. There was a couple of other ones that I'd picked up when I was a kid. Wolverine #50. I know that Sabretooth is going to be in the movie and whatnot, and so I'm really fired up for the release of this film, and it's going to be great. So I'm going to talk a little bit about not so much about the movie, because we've all seen the previews, but I'm going to be talking about some of the stuff about like comic book movies, why Logan in particular and Wolverine is one of my absolute favorites and growing up. And we're also going to talk about some of the things that I think will be very cool to see in the movie. I'm not 100% sure that they're going to be in there, but this is going to be a fun episode, especially if you're a comic book fan, and it's going to be very exciting. So I'm fired up for it, and let's get started today on The Culmination. Let's go. Let's get into it. I remember I was a little kid, probably going back to Seattle in the mid 80s. That was when I first decided to really get into comic books. And I remember being at, local gas station or 7-Eleven, going through and grabbing some comic books and pulling them off the shelf. And as a kid, what did I watch growing up? It was the Lou Ferrigno and the Hulk, the Incredible Hulk. I used to watch some of the, cartoons, Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. I would watch, the old Spider-Man episodes, and so there were all these like really great, comic book concepts that I was immersed in from, probably like around age 10. And then I just started to get into, the concept of collecting. And it was something that I was, really excited about. And one of the properties or books that I was really, really excited about was X-Men. And, it's just one of those things where I just really resonated with, all of the characters. I really thought that they were very, very awesome. I mean, I always had my favorites. Colossus was awesome. Cyclops I thought was pretty cool. Juggernaut I thought was amazing. And, but of all of them, my absolute favorite was Wolverine. Having a chance to be able to see Wolverine brought to life, especially when the first movie came out, I was like, this is incredible. And again, what was that? That was 1999, 2000, sometime around then. But one of the things that I think is really sort of undervalued is just the concept of engaging the imagination. And that's one of the reasons why, to this day, I still love comic books. Those were the times where, some of my, like early value systems and the way that I thought about things and standing up for people and doing the right thing, culture-wise, these were the things that I would think about, was like these heroes that I would read about. What would these people do? We should always take time to be able to dream and be inspired by, things that engage our imagination, and especially heroes. I think that being able to see the ideals, people doing heroic things in society, are things that will inspire kids to be able to go out and set a better example. I'll tell you, going back to the first time, I'll just give you this little story, is that, I'd watched all these comic book movies come out, but I remember I was living on a farm in central New Hampshire, and the first X-Men movie came out, and I went out to the movie theater, and I thought to myself, okay, I'm excited about this movie, but who's this Hugh Jackman guy? Like he's 5'11" or 6 feet, and Wolverine is like 5'2", 5'1", 5'2" in the comics, and like, why are they getting this tall guy? And it didn't really matter. It was like whatever. The angles. You can't really tell when you're on there. But I was like, I want to make sure that this is going to be pretty true to form. There's a lot of history with Logan being short and whatnot. But I went in and I watched the movie. and I didn't know what to expect. The first scenes, with Wolverine, the fight and, in the cage, I was blown away. And I thought that, at the time I had high expectations of Hugh Jackman. I wasn't sure that he was going to be able to pull it off, but holy smokes, this guy absolutely freaking nailed it. That movie, I really feel, set the pace for all of the other superhero movies that were going to come, subsequently from, over the next 20 plus years. That movie had to hit it out of the park. Now, prior to that, just so you guys know, that wasn't really the first movie that people commonly think is the movie that sort of, was the one that opened the door to all of these Marvel properties being developed. Actually, the first one was Blade. And so I also was a huge Blade fan, but I didn't even know that Blade was a Marvel property. I just sat there and go, man, those two films, I think that quality film in Blade and bringing the X-Men, I think that if you look back, that those were the films, like I said, that really set the bar high. I look back at Avengers. I look back at Captain America. I look back at, the Incredible Hulk movies, the Iron Man movies. Those were all really good. Now, there's some stinkers. Yeah, there was a couple, but for the most part, I thought that the execution of those movies has been really, really good, up until more recently. However, I think that Logan, of all of the movies, I think that hands down Logan was the best execution of that superhero at that point in his life. I just thought it was fantastic. So anyways, but of all of them, I got to tell you that Wolverine has always been my favorite. So this movie, X-Men Deadpool and Wolverine, I've got a lot of high hopes for it, and I'm excited to be able to go out there. I mean, this is one of the things that my wife and I would always do, is we would go to the morning, matinee and on opening weekend and watch these movies. And so we're excited to be able to do that with this movie. And I'll probably do a follow-up, episode. And, and I expect, just from looking at the commercials, it looks like it's going to be an absolutely incredible smash hit. The expectations, like I said, are super high. But the other thing that I wanted to kind of give a shout out to was, Rob Liefeld and Fabian Nicieza. These guys were the ones that were the creators of Deadpool, and I was a huge fan, especially of Rob Liefeld. So let's go through. I've got a couple of points here that I think, would be the ones that are the most exciting things that I think are going to be in the movie, based on seeing the previews and whatnot and some of the buzz that's, sort of surrounding it. And so I'm just going to kind of go through these, bullet point by bullet point. And the first one being, and I'll just start right at the top, is the reappearance of X-23. I think that X-23, Daphne Keane was awesome. And, early on, she had denied that she was part of the film. And I was like, I don't know so much about that, but obviously now we see that she's in the film. And so that's one of the things that I'm most excited about and seeing is, how they're going to develop that character. Number two, this is the thing that I again, and some of these are known, but these are the things that I'm, again, most excited about, is Sabretooth and Toad. Sabretooth has always been, in my opinion, that character that was the perfect character to go against, Wolverine. I really, really loved Tyler Mane in the original one, and I just thought he looked like what I saw. If you look at some of the ones, some of the books, I mean, this is, the iconic Sabretooth, that is the one, these are from my own personal collection, but that is Sabretooth, you know what I mean? And Tyler Mane, he absolutely knocked it out of the park. This one here, this is another one that when I saw him coming to the table as the original Sabretooth in X-Men #1, I was like, dude, this guy, they literally pulled him straight out of the comic books in order to be able to do that, right? I'm most excited about, them, Sabretooth and Ray Park, as Toad. Incidentally, I remember running into Ray Park at the mall. And number 3 is Mr. Sinister. And I think that Mr. Sinister, here we go. There's Beast and Rogue and all that kind of stuff. And, they kind of alluded to him in the last Deadpool. I don't know 100% know. I know that they've got, the new villain that's going to be in there. Was it Cassandra Nova is the new villain. And that's just one of the villains that we know is going to be in there. Number 4. Okay. This one, I haven't seen anything on it. Maybe you guys have seen something on it. Chris Evans coming back as Human Torch, so I think that, I thought he was literally the most perfect Captain America, but they're talking about him reprising either Human Torch or Captain America, because it's obviously some multiverse storyline. Number 5, what do I think is another one that's going to be something to look forward to? Spider-Man, an appearance by Spider-Man. All of the licensing that has to be done and whatnot. You never know what's going to be an appearance, but you see Deadpool. I just think, if they wind up being able to work Spider-Man into there, I think that's going to be really, really fun. Number 6 is the Wendigo, right? And Wendigo, if you guys recall, that was the first appearance of Wolverine, was when Hulk was fighting the Wendigo. And so being able to see the Wendigo, I think that was really, really fun. Number 7 would be an appearance by Alpha Flight. I thought Alpha Flight was just super cool. The Canadian Avengers, so to speak. I really was a big fan of Alpha Flight, Sasquatch and Puck and Northstar and all these different, heroes. Number 8, and this is the one that I'm most excited about, is the Hulk. And I think that the Hulk, this here, we're talking about, this is it right here. This is the first appearance of Wolverine. If they don't take advantage of that, I'm even wearing my, my Hulk shirt. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm kind of a big deal. You know what I mean? And so I'm not a big deal. The Hulk is a big deal. And I think that if they put, the Hulk into the film, I think it's going to be absolutely awesome. This here is another version of the Hulk. Right. So this was one of my favorite ones, Hulk number 340. Are you freaking kidding me? This comic was super hilarious because this is probably one of the most expensive comics, that I have. And this is an absolutely iconic cover. But this is one of my favorite books that I would read as a kid. And this here, there's Deadpool, and this is the funny thing about Deadpool. Why wasn't I really a big Deadpool fan? Because Deadpool came out in 93. I just didn't have a chance to be able to get into Deadpool that much. But, the fact of the matter is I'm a big Deadpool fan now. And the fact that they've brought these two, iconic superheroes together, those are the things that I would love to see in the movie. I think there's going to be a whole bunch more stuff that they're going to introduce. We'll see if any of the stuff that I brought up are going to be in here. So, leave some comments below. Were you a big comic book fan? Did you love, these different properties, X-Men, Deadpool, Alpha Flight, Captain America, all these different, Wolverine, we've got Infinity Gauntlet, Thanos, I got just a bunch of stuff from my own personal collection. Let me know in the comments. I'd love to see what you're a fan of. What are you looking forward to, coming out sometime in the near future? If you've enjoyed this content, make sure that you subscribe, make sure that you give us a like, make sure that you turn on notifications so that whenever we release some new stuff, you'll be able to check it out. I think that it's going to be a lot of fun. So we'll see you at the theater. Thanks for tuning in on the Culmination. Take care, everybody.